WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Okay, so when you
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. I'm recovering from a bleeding cold, which is annoying. But yeah, it's the Brighton preview, but we are also going to briefly discuss the Southampton draw, where I've kind of had like mixed feelings about it. But before we get started, and apologies if I'm talking very low, I am going to try my best to keep my voice projected for you guys. Whilst I have the sniffles. I would say big up to JC, who managed to salvage a point for us. I didn't even know we went live because I knew I wasn't available at a safeguarding meeting, and even with that, I had my camera off. My head was down on the table. I was mash up, you know. And the next minute, I've gone to my phone before going to bed. I said, "It's when you went live." I was like, "Wait, when?" So big up JC for doing that and helping us. Nick, and I'm going to say the word Nick, a 1-1 draw. JC, how's it going?
I mean, on the watch along, I was saying that I was the saviour here. It wasn't France, it was all me. So I'm claiming it. I think everyone in the stream was claiming it as well. So people were backing it, which is nice. But yeah, I'm all right. I would have said I'm looking forward to this game, but I think that with the injury to Chris Richards, I'm really not anymore. I was going into this game with a little bit of confidence, actually. You know, we were good. We're playing well. Brighton have also turned around a little bit, but at the end of the day, Klein, he probably got sussed out by the one guy that could probably he's probably his kryptonite, and that's Onuachu. Having a fullback play at centre back and then having the biggest striker in the league up against him. So a little bit unfortunate, maybe. Also, he hasn't played very much. So, you know, he was a little bit positionally all over the place. You can't leave a big guy like that in the box on his own. But I do think that if Richards is there, where they don't score that goal, I think that we had no confidence in our back line. Oh, well. But with Hughes coming back for this game, I do think that we're going to start Lerma at the back. Because when he went back there, we looked a lot better. Start Lerma back there, and then start Will Hughes in the middle with Adam Wharton.
Absolutely. I mean, initially I was very frustrated because when you look at the results of the teams around us, all of them lost. So that was Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton, all lost. Obviously, granted, Villa and Newcastle won, but that was kind of expected. So it was a great chance to obviously just close the gap. But then I thought about it as well, and the players looked knackered. They literally looked both physically and mentally knackered. And I started to kind of ease up on my frustration because the euphoria of getting to Wembley, I'm not saying they did, but they might have gone out that night and stuff, wherever it may be. And then to just go from that complete elation to bring it back down in the space of 4 days, it wasn't easy because we were still buzzing off it come Tuesday, you know what I mean, and we were fans. So it kind of made me feel like, you know what, we didn't lose. Granted, it is obviously against the worst team in the league, and we just take it from there. But just looking at the game in itself, I'm going to give credit to Southampton. They played some lovely football. And Paul Onuachu, my goodness me, his link-up play and hold-up play, and we've always said this, there's only been a few players that's given Max a torrid time. He had the lap. Who was before that?
To be fair, I think Delap was really the only one that really gave him troubles. Because I actually think that he dealt with like the likes of Erling Haaland really well. The likes of Nunes really well. I think he did struggle with Jota a little bit actually, but like that really low center of gravity technical player, he struggled with a little bit. But the beasts like Anuachu and Dadap, he seems to struggle a little bit with.
Yeah, and like I said, credit to Iheanacho because, like I said, he was superb. I was watching it, I'm just like, he's doing everything right. And what was also impressive from a Southampton point of view, they just had runners, constant runners. But whenever we attacked, it was so pedestrian because I just think they were just tired. And you kind of got to look at Glasner there, short to rotate a little bit, just a little bit. And I know it's not what he does because whenever we've had 3-game weeks, he's never rotated. But thinking ahead, obviously, to the semi-final, and now we've confirmed that we're playing on Saturday evening, but we've got Arsenal on the Wednesday. I'm a bit worried that he won't rotate. Like, personally, I'm like, look, sack the Arsenal game. I'm like, give the first team a full-on rest and play all the fringe players. Give them 90, or at least give them 60. You know, but I think it did play a massive part in the result. But Mateus França, and you know what, I'm not even going to just say him. Eddie Nketiah, Kamada, I think when they all came on, they had the desired impact. You know, Kamada was winning headers in midfield and stuff. Eddie was making runs in behind, you know. But França, like, honestly, just the reaction to him scoring from the fans, from the players, he was so happy, obviously dedicated to his newborn. I believe the baby's born now. So it's great for him, especially obviously suffering a lot of injuries and stuff. It was a great for him to open his account.
I mean, yeah, definitely. First goal for the club in a competitive format. To be fair, really nice glancing header actually. You know, it bounced right on the goal line, so it's a hard one to save for Ramsdale anyway. To be fair, I don't think we tested Ramsdale half as much as we should have as well, because you know every shot that we did have at him, it was pretty much straight at him, and it was almost regular saves or what's the saves that where you make where you should make it? I can't remember the name. Routine saves.
Routine.
Yeah, routine saves. So all of them are pretty routine saves. But I think I even said it on the watch along when at the end of the game I was sitting there saying, look, Southampton were the better team. I'm not afraid to admit that Southampton were definitely the better team, and you know they just looked like they wanted it more. And to be fair, for us, we really only started playing at 90 minutes. We were just chilling the whole rest of the game. The second we actually turned it on, we scored a goal and we could have gotten another one right at the end. I think it was quite an ambitious attempt. It was an ambitious attempt from Nketiah. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. But, you know, Anuachu, as you said, was probably the main guy for them. But I would slightly disagree. I would say that Fernandez that they've got, I think he's a tidy little number 10. You know, he provided the assist, was making he was doing a lot of playmaking. You know, he sort of popped up out wide, popped up straight through the middle, and he was, you know, a really good player. But would we have allowed him that much space if we weren't still buzzing off of the Fulham game? I don't know. It's just a lot went into this game, and to be fair, the run that we've had, 6 games away from home, all unbeaten, all without conceding a goal, the run was going to end eventually, wasn't it? And yes, you may say, oh, but it's the Southampton, it's the worst team ever in Premier League history, blah, blah. I think they'll get more than 11 points. Let's be real. I don't think they're the worst team that's ever been in the Premier League. I reckon Huddersfield from a few seasons back has got a worse team, if you ask me honestly. But yeah, like I said, it's disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. And if you even say, oh, you know, 6 games, no goals conceded, it's 7 goals, 1 goal conceded 7 games, 6 wins, 1 draw. It's not like we'd lost.
It's crazy, isn't it? I think it's just obviously the fact that that is Southampton. I think that's the bit that
I
was
get it. That's why I
frustrating.
say I'm more disappointed compared to
Yeah,
upset.
100%. 100%. One last factor before we start actually discussing tomorrow's game is Adam Wharton's disciplinary record hindering us
Yes.
because he's starting to pick up very early yellow cards, and then all of a
Stupid
sudden,
ones as well.
Lerma's having to do doggies. Like it's crazy. Like, does he? Yes, they're on the break, but so early in the game, do you need to go sliding in there? Glasner needs to have a word with him because it's back-to-back games within like 20 minutes, right?
Well, Fulham, I'm sure it was really early in Fulham as well. And to be fair, I actually, when I got home and I had a look at the game, the Fulham game, remember I am a Crystal Palace fan. You can see from the things I've got over here. I wholeheartedly believe Adam Wharton should have been sent off for kicking out against Munoz or Munez. 100%, he should have been sent off. I don't know how the ref didn't see it, but he kicked out on a yellow. You get a
I
straight
think
red
the
for
ref
that.
did see it and did nothing about it, which was stupid.
To be fair, in the Premier League, you get a straight red for that. Like, how is that not a second yellow at least? But he
Yeah,
should have been sent off. And literally the second after that happened, Chairman showed me this. They actually zoomed in on Glasner, and Glasner
yeah,
was
and
like,
he was like
"Adam,
this.
what are you doing? Think about what you're doing." But like, I think that he, as you said, he needs to think about himself. Has all of this talk gone to his head? Remember, he's a very young guy. Being linked with Real Madrid as a 20-year-old is going to be the biggest ego boost of your life. And
Yeah,
does he think he's bigger than the club? I don't think Adam Wharton's that kind of guy, but I do think that he can make mistakes. And I do think it's something that he needs to work on. And to be fair, all young players do it. They think that when they're playing well, they're on top of the world and they think they can do anything. But remember, the rules are the rules for a reason. You can't break them. But the challenges he's been making, they all seem to come from his mistakes. Maybe that's sort of his way of trying to make up for it. But I do think that sometimes if you do make a mistake, yes, you want to be the one to rectify it, but you don't want to give away your card, basically. You don't want to be booked so early into the game. And also, I think for the Fulham one, I'm sure that he got booked in our own half when we had the ball, thinking, well, it's literally on the halfway line. You've got Lerma and the whole back line behind us. Do you really need to go in and slide and make that kind of challenge? I'm speaking about the Fulham example. Do you really need to make that kind of challenge that early into the game? Or are our centre backs and our defenders good enough to be able to, deal with it? But that's going to be something he'll learn. I think that he's sort of suffering from his own success a little bit because whenever he's slid in previously, he's got the ball and he's tried it twice and he's not got it. And I think because of that, you're sort of hindering the rest of his game because he can't really tackle for the rest of the game. But I think it's just a learning thing. I reckon he'll get over it. And I think he's just booking Kapora for diving there in the box.
that's what I just turned to see. Yeah, it's a dive. It's a dive. But yeah, going into sorry, going into tomorrow's game. Obviously we know that Chris Richards ain't available, which is obviously a massive blow. You alluded to it earlier, and I'm hoping that's what we ought to do by putting Lambert right at the back and putting Will Hughes back in the midfield. I think having Will Hughes back is just we need that little bit of control in midfield. We're going to expect to not have much of the ball. And I watched back the highlights of Brighton's game against Villa, and they are terrible in transition. They are so bad. Like the way Villa, hold on, as West Ham on the the way Villa go back to front so quickly, and all of them are struggling. which suits us, which obviously suits us. But in order to do that, we need to have to build the foundation. Now, this is no slant on Clyde, because when he has played right centre back for us, he has actually been okay. But you could tell he was struggling.
I mean, you could tell the lack of game time he's had as well. That was probably the most glaring thing, because I think that when he actually was in his rhythm and I was actually overlapping and doing what he was doing when he played right centre back for us at the end of last season, I thought that he did all right, to be fair to him. But when it comes to the actual physical aspect, you really can't beat a centre back, and you need that with how we play, how aggressive we play. Like Klein can try and be aggressive against centre forwards all he wants. Centre forward's not going to move anywhere. Whereas if Max runs into the back of you, you're going to either fall over or he's just going to push you straight out of the way. And I think that's just the difference, really. But I would much rather, as I said earlier, I'd rather start Lerma at right centre back, because at the end of last season, when Klein was injured, we did play him there. I do remember, I think it was Bournemouth away. He started at right centre back, and we played Mark, Anderson, and Lerma at the back, and we held them to 0-0 pretty much all the way through the game. But the second, I think Glasner made a pretty bad sub there. I'm sure he subbed on Ozo, moved Lerma into the midfield, and then put Ozo at the back, and then Ozo got rinsed and they scored. But up until then, Bournemouth were a really informed team, and he kept them very quiet all game. And there was actually talk between, I think you actually asked me a question last season saying, should Lerma start as centre-back because he's bloody brilliant there? And to be fair, he's a good player. He's a versatile midfielder who can play at centre back. Not the tallest guy in the world, but his jumping ability makes up for it. So I would definitely play Lerma there and Hughes and Wharton in the middle, as long as Hughes is well. I think he's had a little bit of sickness, hasn't he? But if that's not the case, I don't think Kamada's shown. I think Kamada's probably deserved himself a little bit more game time, how he has been playing coming off the bench.
Yeah, he has actually been good the last couple of games.
But I'd still pick Hughes first. But then it is a tough conversation between Kamada or Devaney. I don't know. It depends what the game needs. If you need someone more technical, you bring on Kamada. If you need a little bit more physical, then you bring on Devaney.
Absolutely. Let's get some comments before we continue talking about tomorrow's game.
100%. Big up the dog, said that was a tough watch knowing everyone around us dropped points. Big up chairman. Chairman says big up JC for 1,000 views on the watch long. Thank you everyone for watching that, because my stream kept dying and I don't know how I kept waffling that whole time. So I appreciate anyone that watched it. No Riches is not good. The Big Bird Derby. It's not a derby, it's a rivalry. Did Ramsdale play well? Yeah, it was all right. Good that Mateta was okay and França finally. I think Mateta was unlucky not to score his chance early on in the game as well. Like if that just dipped a little bit, Ramsdale ain't getting nowhere near that one. Is Richards available? Monty replied saying no. Big up Monty, by the way. Big up Mitch saying tall Paul actually. Klein couldn't get an extension on his performance. Tiddles is out here saying that Nketiah deserves a start. I think 2 good games in a row. I don't think that's start worthy as of yet. I think Mateta, even though he hasn't played amazingly ever since he got injured, I still think Mateta's still got that starting spot locked down. But if Nketiah keeps performing like he is and Mateta's not scoring goals, then I don't see why that wouldn't happen.
With that, I still think for the meantime, Mateta should still, up until the semi-final, still be substituted at 60 minutes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I think Glasser should keep doing that.
Big up Animal. Mitch says, yeah, I can't give Wharton a high rating in that Fulham match, even though he was brilliant, because he came so close to losing us the game in an instant. Also, one thing about everyone on social media, when he did the 360 into a chop and he sent everyone, his next pass he gave the ball away.
He gave the ball, yeah. Everyone, I was saying that to everyone. It's like they've clipped it. They've clipped that the wrong part.
Yeah, they clipped it really well. He gave the ball away in his next pass. but it looked good. People saying Wharton is missing Hughes. I don't see it. We miss Hughes, but Wharton's been below par performances are on him. I agree. Rich D keeping an eye on me in DR Sports. I think Hughes usually does the dirty work, the hard tackles, and Wharton does that. People get hurt and he gets early yellows. To be fair, Hughes is a master at getting a yellow card, and he's just a destroyer. And to be fair, I think he's better at that than Adam Wharton.
But
So
also, Hughes is the master of avoiding getting yellow cards till late on in the game.
Mm-hmm. I think also with Hughesy, I think the fact that he obviously he's not got the engine or the physicality of Lerma, but he'll still get himself about and do all the tackling that Lerma does. But the fact that he's so much better at passing and progressing the ball forwards than Lerma is probably what we really need in that midfield, especially when we've only got a two-man midfield. The extra passing that Hughes can give us just moving the ball forwards compared to Lerma is just different gravy, and it will help Adam a hell of a lot more. Lerma does all that. No. Big up Simon saying, not like Hughesy. Lerma was everywhere both games, Fulham and Southampton. Lerma was close to a 10 out of 10 performance this season, as he's got versus Fulham. He did have a good game against Fulham. Very good game. Lots of comments. Big up everyone. Big up Durfez. Big up Damo.
Just see a comment about whether we should change formation. I don't think that's a bad. I was actually thinking that whilst I had like the Southampton stream.
I mean, with Richards injured, a four at the back doesn't sound like the end of the world until I remember that we have Daniel Munoz. And then remember that he has to play right back instead of right wing back, which is just going to be a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he's definitely a better wing back, but I don't know. I think it gives us the, like, if you put Ebbs back in the 10 now, then you can have the extra attacker go on the left hand side, whether it's Kamada or França. You know, I don't know.
It gives you more options.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're being really picky, you could put Nathaniel Klein there, but it would mean dropping Munoz, and I don't really want to do that.
Nor do I. Yeah, obviously it's a massive game. And if we can get 3 points, I believe we move in within 3 or 4 points of Brighton as well.
Yeah, you know? Depending on other results as well.
Yeah. It's very, very close. Like that, there's a whole pack of teams. You know, I think there's about 10 points between us, and we're 40 points, I believe. And Chelsea? No, they won yesterday, so that might be different. I think Chelsea won like 50, 51 or something like that. So it's crazy. I mean, granted, our running is stupid. Our running is absolutely stupid. But it's against those teams where we tend to fare better, I think, as well.
I mean, some of those teams that I looked at, their season could be wrapped up and finished by the time we play them. Like Liverpool, they could have won the title by the time we play them at the end of the season. Wolves, they could be mathematically safe by the time we play them, so they'll be on the beach. Arsenal, you know, they might secure that second or third position, but there's nothing else to really play for. Same thing with Manchester City. They might be chasing Liverpool, but it might be too far out of their reach. Like, we've got a lot of the bigger teams who we seem to play better against anyway, but they don't really have much to play for when we come to actually playing them. But on the flip side of that, when you look at Arsenal, Saka's just come back, so he's looking to score goals and, you know, get his stats up. So it looks like it was another good season for himself. And to be fair, how many times have we seen a team on the beach, and because they've got no stress and they can just play with freedom, how many times have we seen someone get absolutely battered by a top 6 team when they've got nothing to play for?
Absolutely. So obviously on paper it looks like a hard running, but like you said, the fact that once obviously we play kind of better against the bigger teams, and obviously some of them may have nothing to play for. Even think about the Villa semi-final. I think they've surrounded by Man City and then both PSG games as well. So they've got a mad April, and obviously we got to deal with 2 games in 3 days, which we'll obviously get to in greater data nearer the time.
All I'm saying is sack off the Arsenal game. Go for the cup.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Absolutely. Just you know what? Even if it means taking a fine, just say we're not playing.
Yeah, we'll
We're
take
not
3-0
playing.
loss.
Don't fine us. We're not playing. The atmosphere tomorrow. Now, this is what I'm intrigued by. I'm expecting K Sarah to be saying over and
To be fair,
and
Villa did that to them
over
the
again.
last game.
Yeah. I'm really expecting that to be sang over and over again. If not that, then obviously we've got Super League guys now.
I think it very much matters on what's going on in the pitch. If what's going on
That
the
was going to be
pitch
my
is
question. Yeah.
rubbish, then the stadium will be silent as it has been all season. But then if there's something to cheer for on the pitch, then it's going to be a good atmosphere. I think Chairman and Matt were telling me at Southampton, we thought, oh mate, it's going to be buzzing at Southampton. They said it was so dead at Southampton. Granted, it was probably because everyone arrived late because of the traffic, but when everyone was actually in the stadium, it was still dead, and that's because the players were playing badly. So even though we've got a great trip to Wembley and everyone thought, oh yeah, it's going to be brilliant, blah blah blah, not the case. Everyone's like down because of how we're playing on the pitch. And to be fair, I understand it. If the players aren't playing well, then does it really make you want to cheer? Not really.
Yeah. I did see a tweet, I believe it was from a six, and who said, "Oh, congrats on being the worst fans here this season," or something like that. Which obviously mirrors what you're saying and stuff. What sort of threat do we need to be mindful of from a Brighton point of view?
I think I think in a funny way, the amount of injuries that they have, the fact that they have so many injuries that it's going to be very unpredictable in how they're actually going to play. And I do think that because of the injuries that they have, I do think they're going to be playing that much more attacking style of football because they've lost the likes of Rutter, they've lost Webster, Igor, and Veltman. So Lewis Dunk is going to play, which may or may not be a good thing. Probably a good thing for us because he can't keep up with Sarr, and he probably has nightmares about Ismail Sarr every single night. But
Just come back from that. Is there a hip injury, I believe, as well?
But what it would mean for us is the fact that they've got injuries there. They don't have a number 10 anymore. They don't have Rutter. So for me, it would mean that they're going to play 2 up front. They'll probably play Welbeck and Pedro up front, which is something that we have struggled with a little bit this season, playing against a 2 up front system. So instead of our centre backs tripling up on one person, there's 2 people to deal with there. And if we have got Nathaniel Klein, that's going to be easier for them to deal with. Granted, I do hope it is Lerma, but we never know. Glasner has made stranger decisions. He has played Klein at left centre back before, so who knows when his first 11's injured. But I do think that we have to worry about a front 4 of Matoma, Pedro, Welbeck, and Minte. I do think that will be something that they will play at the start, and it'll be something that will be very, very dangerous for us to deal with. They'll probably have those 4. I reckon to play 4-2-4. Those 4 up front, Baliba and Ayari in the middle, and then you got your back line of Van Heck, Dunk. I think Lamptey's injured, so they'll probably play. I've got no idea.
Hinshelwood, I believe it was.
Hinshelwood on the right back, Estepinian at the left back. So they'll probably have something along those lines, which basically means very, very attacking. But it does mean that if we can get the break on them, as you said, they've only got 2 midfielders as well. So in the transition, we could hit them hard. But I don't think that Glasner or most fans in the stadium would want us playing that kind of football against our rivals. We'd want to dominate them. We're not going to play counter-attack football against them, which is something we struggle with breaking the team down. We're better at counter-attacking, but at home, the aim is the things on us is going to be to break them down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the inclusion of Will Hughes would be massive because I think if he could go back to do what he does best and trying to intercept play and have those tackles in, Walton can solely focus on passing the ball forward
It's the
and
perfect
passing the
game
ball forward quick.
Hughes as well.
Yeah, and I am so intrigued by what the Believer Water battle will look like in midfield.
I don't think there'll be much
That would
battle. Personally, I think Belieber is much more of an 8 than a playmaker that Wharton is. I think Belieber's much more of a powerhouse, muscle through, move the pitch up and dribble with it, compared to whereas Wharton is win the ball and pass it forwards. So they're completely different players. I don't think there'll be much battle there.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're going to want to stop each other from playing.
Oh, of course.
I think that's going to be the key aspects because, yeah, Believer obviously, I think he's had a decent season for them. It's harsh to obviously, it's hard to obviously rate a Brighton player, but he's been good for them. And if he plays well, I think that's what sparks them on.
They've got
But
a
like I said,
couple of good players as well. Like I think Vifer, he's a decent player when he wants to be. So they've got good players on the bench, but their pretty much the starting 11's injured. So we have to try and capitalize on this. But
yeah,
we are Crystal Palace. We do not capitalize on situations that benefit us.
we do not. We do not. Just to answer Animal's question. So I mentioned this earlier, Animal. Basically, I just think we're mentally drained, just mentally and physically tired. The whole emotions of Wembley and so on and so forth. I think that's what I think it is. I could be wrong, by the way, just my opinion. But we looked so laboured. That we looked so bad. And Big Up Davis saying he doesn't care how we win. It's true, actually. Yeah, just win the game. Just one more Mateus França before we do our bias combined 11. It's good to see that he's getting a lot more minutes. He's getting trusted. I think it was 5 minutes against so stoppage time against Fulham. He got 15 minutes the other day. I think Glasner's turning to him when he doesn't feel like things are going well, but he's turning to him a lot earlier than beforehand.
Well, you know what's funny? I think someone said it on Twitter. He's played 38 minutes competitively in a Crystal Palace shirt for Oliver Glasner. He's won a penalty, he's got an assist, and he's got a goal in 38 minutes.
It's not bad.
It's not been bad, is it? If you take out the FA Cup,
right.
but that's even then that's still under Roy Hodgson. So he has been really good for us, to be fair. And I reckon that the reason why I think I was asked this on the watch long. I can't remember who asked me this. I think it was Alex, but he asked me why. I think when França came on, he said, "Why is França coming on but not Esse?" And my response to him was along the lines of, "Well, yes, they are both the same age, but França has been playing men's football at Flamengo for 2-3 seasons, starting." Whereas Esse has really only played half of a full season, maybe even one full season for Millwall. So I reckon that the maturity and the physicality is just on a completely different level when it comes to goal powers.
21 have equalised.
Yeah, I think the maturity and the physicality is just completely different. Like when França came in, I said this to you, when França came in, he was a twig. You look at him now, he's beefed up a hell of a lot. I reckon the same thing's going to happen to Esse. He's just not there physically yet, which is why I think that Glasner's trusting him a little bit more. And also, France has been at the club 2 years now, so he understands how we play. He understands everything about the club, whereas Esse is probably still getting accustomed to it. And France has been playing in the youth team ever since Glasner came in. I don't know if you've noticed it, but every single one of our youth teams and even the women's team is playing the Glasner way. Whereas Esse has played his whole career in Millwall Academy and at Millwall, where I think they played 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. He's got to come in, jump up to the Premier League, and then change everything tactically. So I reckon that because França is probably a little bit more of the finished article right now, he's probably using him a lot more now. But I reckon in pre-season, Esse start every game, and if he does well, he'll most likely be one of the main guys next year. But he would need to beef up physically as well. Same thing with França.
Yeah, I think I saw that there was they were promoting one of the 21 games. I think it was the 14th, and it had essay on the cover, which obviously means like he's going to be playing 90 probably in that game. So yeah,
I agree,
this is
Fez.
just quick combined 11.
So I've gone with a 4-2-3-1 here, just to try and get as many attackers on there as possible. Because yes, they have got good attackers. So it's really the easiest way of getting them to have 3 players in here. But I am going with Hendo in goal. Hendo in goal. Estepinian at left back potentially. Or we going Mitchell?
I'll go for a back four. I'll put all of our back four in.
Okay, out of Gay, Lacroix, Richards, who misses out? Bearing in mind Richards' current form or form before he got injured.
Yeah, it'll still be Richards because I think Gay and the quad are better too.
And then Munoz. Are we going Belieber, Wharton, pivot?
Yeah.
How do you want to do the front line then? You got to get 2 Brighton players in there. That's why I wanted to put Estepinian at left back so you could take one of them out of the front line.
So could we not do Ebbs in the 10, JP up top, Mitoma on the left, Minter on the right? Then there's the 3.
You can do, but I think
I'm not having Zhao, you know his name, in this squad.
I would still probably have Sar over Minte though.
Oh, this is only just to have their player in. I mean, I guess we could do Sar and then Estepinian, and it's still 3. So either or, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I don't like Minte, but because I said that he's gonna score now, so oh well. Combined 11, sick. Get off my screen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I don't think there's anything more to cover actually. I don't know what time I'm getting to the ground. I'm going to get myself a retwist. But the question is, my retwist starts at 10. Sorry, this sniffles might sound annoying. Retwist starts at 10. If I can hopefully finish by 12, 1 at or 12:30, then I can probably breeze the barbers, get the shape up, then get to the ground. If I think it's going to be a bit techie, I have to make my way to the ground, have the sides all messy.
Fine cams will be funny then.
And then go to the barbers after the game. But now, to be fair, I'd love to try and get there. But I'll see.
I apologize, Doug. I was 2 years out.
Yeah. Basically, I'm trying to make sure I look fresh for Sunday. You know what I mean? So, no, absolutely. Which I think will. Oh, wait, hold on. So, a free kick? Oh, free kick myself. But yeah, look, I just hope we've rested it. Glasner did mention in his presser actually that they've just focused on tactical stuff, which I think they just needed a break. You know, just get in there. Oh, I drive, Davis, so it's fine. I drive, so I'll probably drive to the barbers after my my retwist. So it's all good. But either way, I'll decide once my retwist is done. I'll decide. Should I sack it off? Should I go afterwards? We'll see. Yeah. So yeah. But look, we just got to go there, get in their faces. I think play on the counter because I think that's what will benefit us. Yeah, and to be fair, when you look at past games, I think minus the one where was it when Tompkins scored? We've played okay at home against them. That Tompkins one, I think they could have been like 4-0 up. and then Sanchez dropped the ball.
Yeah, the second coming of why'd you let it bounce?
Yeah,
I do think that the other one, the original why'd you let it bounce? I do think that we probably should have won that game about 2 or 3-0.
yeah, we did before
But we just didn't
the
take our chance. That was the
yeah.
season with Vieira, wasn't it? Where we were killing guys, but then we were just not taking our chances.
Nah, for real. Oh yeah, Germans remind us that getting there last season was a nightmare. I think that was because once one was an evening game. And to be fair, I come from a different direction when I'm coming from mine, so should hopefully be okay.
Yeah, so the one game you picked to walk with me was the worst.
I was like, yeah, come, let's link up.
Yeah, and it
Come
was
on,
a
man.
bad
Come
idea.
on. Oh my gosh, we got held up for like what, half an hour?
Yeah, about more than that. Well, put it this
It
way, we
was
left
crazy.
the pub like an hour before kickoff. I think Zach Marsh is well offside there. Yeah. Yeah, we left like an hour, or maybe even a little bit more before kickoff, and we ended up getting there 5 minutes to spare. So, and bear in mind, it's like a 20-minute walk, so we were held there for 40
Yeah,
minutes.
it was mental. It was mental. But
Score
yeah,
prediction.
I don't. It's uh, I've gone 2-1 Palace.
Yeah, I've gone 2-1 Palace as well, but I'm going off the fact that I'm praying Lerma plays at centre back. If
Yeah,
Klein does, then I'm saying 1-1.
yeah, it's gonna get a bit techie, you know. Hold on, is that Hindela? Oh, he's just falling over. Oh, it's Ola. It's just falling over. But yeah. So yeah, big
Perfect.
up,
Just
guys.
1-0 Palace.
Oh, just a bit of a heads up. We're obviously looking into things. There's been quite a few copyright strikes regarding our own music, which is a bit weird and stuff. So we are looking to fix things in the background. Obviously, what we don't want to do is incur too many of those because they will just terminate the channel, which will be annoying. So we are looking into it and obviously disputing things as we go along. So if you see that there's maybe no background music or if the intro disappears, that's why. That's why. We just want to make sure that nothing goes to pot. But some pagan tried to claim our track as their own, and yes, it's been a bit of a nightmare. I think that covers everything now. So yeah, guys, have a lovely rest of the evening, an excellent weekend. Hopefully, it's going to be a great weekend tomorrow. And for those who work at schools, happy Easter break. I'm so happy. Sorry, JC. Up the palace. Here he goes.